Hey guys, and welcome back to my next overpowered build, featuring the most powerful ranger archer character, the Gloomstalker Assassin. This is another very popular build that was super hyped up during early access, and its power met those very high expectations upon release. Now, like all things in this game, I know, before you go to the comments spamming, "Oh my god, Moses, but if you use Titan String and dump strength while using Elixirs, that doesn't matter." Okay, I got it. Like everything else in the game, if you dump strength and abuse Elixirs and other mechanics to add your strength while scaling Dex or Charisma, I get it. It's the most broken, dip mechanic in the game, using like Baldur or Titan String, I know, but you guys know me, I like to add some flavor in my builds. I like to get them more immersive, and if I just have 4 characters all abusing the same thing, it just doesn't feel very thematic to me. It doesn't feel very role-playing, in my opinion, but to each your own. So the theme for this is going to be loosely based off Sylvanas Windrunner. As much as I hate what WoW has become these days, Sylvanas is just a badass fantasy character. That Dark Ranger, this like Death Archer, is a super cool archetype to explore, so let's get into the build. Alright guys, so initial character creation, like I always say, always go with what you think is the most aesthetically pleasing. Unless you're really power gaming in this martial type class, then you would just go half orc. But otherwise, any of the elf types work really, really well. This is my best like Sylvanas undead cosplay, I guess I could figure out, but there's that. But again, I do like the half elf, drow, elf, and even human works too. You have a lot of different ways to make this. So we are going to be a Gloomstalker Assassin. What that means is we're going to go Ranger and Rogue primarily. So initially the first level, you have a lot of options. You can go Ranger if you want to, or you can go Rogue if you want to. They're both good. I would lean more heavily towards Rogue early in the game, because you get your sneak attack access, which is going to be a very, very good ability throughout the game, especially in the early fights like Goblin Camp, a lot of the other areas like using sneak attack, resetting fights, opening it up again with Assassin subclass at level 3, because you're not level 5, you don't have 2 attack martial access. Once you do get level 5, maybe you go Ranger if you want the 2 attacks, unless you value sneak attack that much. But it really is personal preference. At the end of the day, we're going to end up in the same place with the same amount of power. For abilities, you know me, I'm very consistent. I always like going second ability in Constitution and getting that rounded out 16 Constitution, getting that 3 in it, and then just getting a little bit more health and never having to worry about investment. We go 17 Dex because why not? It allows us to go for certain feats that allow a +1 instead of just going ASI if we were to go 16 here. So it's just something to think about. I like 12 Strength to get a little bit more jump distance, a little more carrying utility, right? And Wisdom, even though we are going to get some Ranger spells, it just doesn't really matter. We're not focused on it at all. We're pretty much a pure Assassin, Dark Ranger, range archer type of character. So no spreadsheet this time, guys. Just like my overpowered Blade Lock, the Lockadin, we're just exploring one archetype and see how really powerful, how good it actually is. That patented Gloomstalker Assassin multi-class combination. Again, here are the ability points breakdown. You start as Rogue if you value sneak attack more. I normally do. I think it's much better in the early game until you get to level 5, obviously, once you get Ranger and you get 2 attacks. Now, real quick, when talking about level 2, you don't have a lot of choices. It's very simple to play this class early in the game. The one thing to note is that cunning action, the hide, and the dash do use a bonus action. Early in the game, you're not going to have a lot of uses in combat for bonus action, so this does help a lot. Just do make sure, a note when you're hiding, make sure you're not in somebody's visible line of sight. I'll show a little thing right here, but you'll see like sometimes if you hide right in front of somebody, they're just gonna see you anyway, and even if sometimes you pass the self-check in combat, it seems bugged, so just be aware of that. Try to be at least lightly obscured and then out of people's direct line of sight when you do hide in combat. So Assassin is huge for this type of build. We're going to have high initiative. We're going to make sure that we get criticals when we open combat. One of the best features of Assassin is that when you open combat as an Assassin, you stealth around, you have an incoming fight, you open with a sneak attack from range. That does not go against your actual action economy in the first turn. So you pretty much get a free sneak attack before combat even starts, and you reset both your action and your bonus action at the start of combat. Additionally, you get a lot of surprises as a rogue assassin too, so you get a lot of automatic criticals. I talk about it a lot in my other builds, but my Astarian assassin early in the game, level 3, level 4 was just disgustingly good. It's one of my favorite playstyles in the game. And you don't even really have to abuse it. You could probably like solo a lot of the content in the game using Assassin. Maybe after the first patch, I think they kind of fixed some of it, but it's still very, very good. And again, getting advantage on characters that you act before is just absolutely huge in combination with Sneak Attack. So for the first feat, it's absolutely mandatory. We're a range class. We're going to go sharpshooter, right? So you get the high ground rules. You don't get the penalties from it, and then it's pretty much great weapon master from range without getting the bonus action attack, and you get a plus 10 additional damage. The -5 compared to great weapon master, unless you're a barbarian, is just not even a factor because you're almost always going to attack with advantage. You're going to target those enemies that you attack before the turn order, enabling you to actually get advantage. And you'll see in the clips, like, you just get 99% chance to hit. And in these clips, I only have 18 dex. So it's just something, it's just very, very good. And it's one of the best early game feats. I actually think, unless you're really accounting for the Tavern Brawler, the throwing builds, and just abusing strength with Elixirs, this is one of the most powerful pure class in the game, early on in the game, besides Barbarian. Now, once you get to level 5, you have a big choice, right? You're leveling early on through the game, you get to level 5, what are you going to do? At this point, Ranger does probably outscale Rogue, just because you get the 2 attacks, and over more turns, it's going to be better. But if you've become really used to and really good at utilizing Assassin Rogue to its full potential, opening fights and stuff like that with sneak attack, resetting the action, it might still be good enough, right? And I actually think it's completely viable. Another note is that every odd level of Rogue, you add the additional 1d6 die to your sneak attack. To me, that's huge, because now you're just like, you're a pure martial class that gets smite access, right? I made a joke in my last video, but it's I love doing it, right? Because like, oh, I just have smite every turn, no resources, right? I just got to use it. And my first turn, I get 2 smites, you know? So I just think it's really cool, and it absolutely scales more and more. I do, in the future, want to explore the idea of a pure rogue that just uses entirely sneak attack and tries to maximize that amount of damage, but that's for another day. So again, if you get to level 5, I still think rogue is very, very good. In the end game, it's going to be a little bit different, but at least up to this time, it's very, very close whether the 2-attack Ranger outscales the Rogue Assassin. And at level 5, you get Uncanny Dodge, which is very, very good, and it's gonna factor into what we want to do later on in the game. So if you did decide to stay Rogue, then at this point, you're going to start your dip into Ranger. Now, if you're a Ranger, you would just do the opposite. You would start dipping into Rogue then. So for favorite enemy and Natural Explorer, it really, really doesn't matter. If you want some more, if you want to be the skill monkey, your main character, whatever your party needs as a proficiency, you know, interacting with the world, I would go with that. Ranger Knight, obviously you get heavy armor, but we're not going to utilize heavy armor. As a dex class and as a dex scaling build, we're going to utilize medium armor, and exotic material is just very, very good. It gives us an insane amount of tankiness, especially as a range character. And for Natural Explorer, I just like getting one of the resistances, whatever you really want. For spells, the one mandatory one is going to be Hunter's Mark. And getting a 1d6 die pretty much on every attack, it does require concentration, but as a ranged character, you're not going to really succumb to a lot of attacks that are going to target you for concentration, especially for Hunter's Mark. The AI is pretty good on Tactician to target the more higher priority concentration spells, and just getting another 1d6 in combination with what I'm going to do later on, it's just very, very good. Just more die, more damage, better, right? And the second one, utility, Long Strider, Enhanced Leap, whichever one matters. And for fighting style, obviously, we're a range build, we're a longbow character, we're Sylvanas. We're going to use Archery. Now, in another build I explored, Beastmaster, I think it's very, very good, but you need to invest a lot of levels in Ranger to make Beastmaster viable. I actually have dabbled in Hunter a little bit because I think it's okay, but honestly, I think when it really, really comes down to it, not only is the theme, it's going to be a Gloomstalker Assassin, we're exploring that overpowered archetype, right? But it just is so much better than Hunter, and it's not even close. You pretty much get the 3, when you really think about it, you're getting 4 to 5 attacks before the combat even starts. You attack, you reset your action, bonus action economy. A lot of the times you could just attack, one-shot somebody with the auto crit, and then you reset combat. You stealth right after, and you'll see people walk right by you. I showed the clip in the intro, but it's just like, it's so funny, right? Having this, plus the additional die, plus the initiative bonus, which is critical for our assassin build, it's just so damn good. And even though it is only that first turn that you get the Druid Ambusher, it's just the thematic, the lore appropriateness is just so amazing when we really talk about this range build. And you get a better Dread Ambusher. It's, you know, you get another hide, right? Very good. Umbral Shroud's pretty good if you want to open combat, Umbral Shroud real quick, and then, you know, reset, and you can abuse a lot of the mechanics and the fights in that game that way if you want to go that into it. And, you know, Disguise Self is just, it's just cool. It's cool and lore appropriate, right? All right, so you're level 4, you get your feat access. ASI, I don't think it's worth it just because we really don't need the wisdom to get to 12. We just need the dex to get to 18. So other things are just much, much better. I like athlete a lot, just getting that +1. If you have other utility that you want to do that gives +1 to dex, then go ahead and do that and you get the added utility. One thing to note that since we are only going to be a 2 feet build, alert is very, very, very good. It's the value really can't be quantified just because auto guaranteeing that your initiative rolls are always going to act first in the turn order is just so good for this type of build. But because we are only going 2 feats in my variant, you know, I got to make it a little unique, right? I just like going athlete here, getting a little bit more jump distance, getting up to places on high ground, stuff like that. I think it's worth it. And getting the 18 dex. The best version of this build, I do think, is just going to be getting 3 feats total. So you can go 8-4 Ranger Rogue, or you can go the other way, you know. Oh, actually, you can't go the other way because you need to go 5 and Ranger to get the 2 attacks. So you would pretty much 8 Ranger, 4 Rogue is probably going to be the power gaming aspect of it. And we're not power gaming. We're not abusing the elixirs, the strength, the dips with Titan String, stuff like that. But if you want to just go pure, not follow my dip, then you would just go 8 Ranger, Gloomstalker, and then 4 Rogue, and ignore that level 5 Rogue. You would lose a 1d6 die on the sneak attack, and you would lose Uncanny Dodge, but the extra feat would be worth it. In that case, in the 3 feat variant of this build, you would go another ASI to get 20 dex. Just because getting the 20 dex is just worth it. The extra +1 is just so damn good. It's going to do more damage, more higher chance to hit. I don't think it's needed, honestly, because you'll see in a lot of the clips, you get 99% chance to hit. You know, it's not like, it's not hard at all, guys, right? So you get level 5 Ranger, and at this point, your big power spike, and you get your 2 attacks, and now your openers are just absolutely disgusting, right? You get your 2 attacks, you get the sneak attack to open the fight, then it resets. Now you get technically 3 attacks because now you get a sneak attack to open. You get another sneak attack in the first round, the first turn order. Then you get an attack, a second attack, and then you get your Dread Ambusher. So you're doing 4 attacks right then and there. A lot of the times I've even seen it bug out to where I'll be able to sneak attack twice, because the combat won't initiate when you open the fight if you get a huge crit, and a lot of the times you're going to get that. You're going to do massive damage with Sharpshooter, plus good dex scaling, plus the auto crits. It's great, guys. You get Misty Step 2. It's so nice. For the other spell, I just like doing, you know, protection from poison or dark vision, because utility during long rest. Path without trace is very good too for some situations that you just want to stealth the whole party. But again, it's all personal preference and whatever utility you want. Now again, the most power game aspect of this build is going to be that 8-4 8 Ranger Gloomstalker for Rogue Assassin, so you get access to 3 feats. But me being me, of course, I gotta be a little bit different, and I thought about it very hard. What can we do to spice up this build, right? Is there anything really that we can add a utility that's good? The first thing that came to mind with the Sylvanas theme, the Dark Ranger, is Warlock, right? And I'm like, okay, that's pretty good. You know, we get Frighten on crits, we get the Great Old One, we also get, where is it? You get Hex that you're able to mark people with, and you get the more necrotic. Now it's very thematic. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool, right? But then again, we have Hunter's Mark. We can't use both of these. We can only get the 1 concentration. And 1d6 piercing versus 1d6 necrotic, it's like, all right, it's still 1d6, right? So I thought about it more, and I'm like, you know what we can do? We can actually go Druid, and we can go with a 2-level Druid dip. And we can go Circle of the Spores Druid. And if you guys see my Unholy DK build, I'll try to put a link to it right now in the corner, but damn, getting another 1d6 on every single attack. All right, now we're talking. We get Hunter's Mark. Now we get the Symbiotic Entity. And you might think, oh, Moses, that's pretty terrible because, you know, the Symbiotic Entity temporary health only scales with Druid levels. We're a range class. It doesn't matter. We rely on stealth and good positioning and darkness, obscuring ourselves, getting good stealth checks. The 8 temporary hit points is really not a factor. You combine this with Uncanny Dodge, with the 5 Rogue, when we even do get hit or targeted, which is not going to be often, we only take half damage. We still have very good AC, and the 8 temporary hit points is very easy to maintain. You also get the 2 charges, so every short rest you can cast it. You get a lot of short rests. This build works very good with Bard. And the whole point of this is that we fit the Sylvanas kind of thing. We get the Necrotic. We're kind of like the Death, like the Drow High Elf that's corrupted. We're the Dark Ranger. And I think it just really, really, really fits. It's a nice flavor to the build, and I love adding, you know, a little bit of flavor, a little bit of things. It just gets me more into it, right? I love this stuff, right? But that's why I like doing this. So now we get the Hunter's Mark. So now we get a, you know, 2 1d6s. And you got to think about this. Well, Hunter's Mark and the Symbiotic Entity, every single time we attack, those four attacks, the 1 sneak attack to open, you get the additional, with 5 rogue, instead of doing 4, we get, I think, 3d6, or maybe it's just 2d6, I'm not sure. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but we get that. Of course, the Dread Ambusher, you get another 1d8, I believe. And it's just so good because now we're adding all these die roll. And even in the late game Act 3, you saw in the intro that like I was literally one-shotting people, right? It's awesome. I love it. So getting into the gear real quick, I always say this. I don't like getting too much into the gear because a lot of people are like, oh, we'll just use the best legendaries. Yeah, I know. You'll see that we have 22 AC, which is very, very good for a ranged class. One thing to note is that if you want to be more tanky, you can forego your second melee weapon, your second stat stick, and you can get a shield in there that'll increase your AC. So that's something I think is very, very cool. Now for the weapon, I use this on a lot of my ranged builds instead of the legendary bow. One, because I don't know, this doesn't, you know, using the Holy Radiant legendary bow doesn't really make a lot of sense. I like getting the improved critical. You get a lot of auto crits anyway. This isn't a crit fishing build, but we do attack with advantage a lot, which increases our opportunity to get crits. You'll see, I'll show on the table real quick, like the math of it, but it's very, very, very good. Is it better than not having a legendary? I don't know, but the keen attack is awesome. It really outweighs sharpshooter. Well, counteracts sharpshooter and gives you those high 99% chances to hit with sneak attack and your advantage attacks. Everything else is personal preference. Again, core is going to be armor and agility later in the game. Any type of exotic material that maximizes your dex while not giving you disadvantage on stealth checks fits perfectly into the build. And even though we're not a crit fishing build, because we have high initiative, we're going to get advantage on all our attacks. Just getting some of these more crit increasing ranges are very, very good. One note is that similar to your melee builds, where your bow is a stat stick, where you can use a equip dead shot into the melee, like my Karlach crit fishing build, that Berserker Barbarian Axe, Hell Axe, Great Hell Axe Karlach. The same thing with Ranger, where your melees are actually stat sticks, right? So you'll see here, improved critical. We get the improved critical. Very, very good. And for the second one, which is even more important, when you make an attack with advantage, the target takes an additional 7 piercing damage. That's awesome. So that still applies because if you see upon the first text, this weapon deals an additional 1 to 4 piercing damage against targets with 50% of their health or pure. That is only this weapon. That's conditional. The Red Vein Savagery is everything. Your bow attacks are still going to apply another 7 piercing. So now we have the 1d6 necrotic from Druid Dip. Now we have the 1d6 Hunter's Mark. Now we have the 7 piercing. We're doubling our proficiency with Deadshot here. And then we get the sneak attack die. We get the Dread Ambusher die. And you'll see this build is very, very powerful. Obviously, there's no legendary weapons. These are late in the game, but even early in the game, there's a lot of items that you can utilize that give you just flat bonuses. So look into those and, you know, use whatever you guys want. So I am going to talk a little bit about how to pilot the build. One thing to note is that when you hover your mouse over, you'll see a little icon right in the middle that shows like the sun. And you'll see that the sun is full sometimes. That means there's nothing about it is obscured. Now we go over here, we have a half. We're lightly obscured. And then, you know, so think about that when you are moving around the battlefield, when you are stealthing, and when you are looking to fish for those obscured bonuses, right? This is what it actually means. You can also look in the bottom left, how you're lightly obscured. That half moon correlates with the symbol right here, and not obscured at all. Wow. Okay, so like right there, the pure sun. So it is something to be cognizant of when you're actually trying to pilot this build. And I like that because it really requires a little bit more thought and patience to play this build. It really enhances the playstyle experience, at least to me. Now make sure you do enable your symbiotic entity. You'll see here, you have the buff here, now you get it. And when it comes to opening attacks, I like to just go with it, right? And you'll see we are in the line of sight here, but hopefully, yeah, that's a 45. We're like guaranteed to pretty much one-shot this character here. Ooh, oh, so close. But you'll see I actually got 2 attacks to open with and sneak attack, and you'll see here My actions are still actually not used at all. Like that's, oh, actually I lied. This is actually my extra attack. So they did count the one attack before, but I still have access to sneak attacking again. And I still have access to Dread Aperture, right? So we have our sneak attack once. We have our 99% hit chance. We attack again. No crit, not lucky. And we did not get, yeah, no surprise either. But, oh, so I actually did lie. Now we get another attack. So that's 4 attacks to open the fight with. Plus, we're going to get a Dread Aperture. This is what I was talking about, where sometimes you'll be able to get 5. Not always, but, you know, sometimes you get that nice, beautiful crit. And I really should have just bonus action at some point, but we'll do it right here as it's the last target. And we get Hunter's Mark. We get another attack. Is this like 6 attacks, I think, actually? I don't even know. I lost count, but you'll see how ridiculous this build is. Oh, so close. A little bit better rolls. If we had Savage Attacker, that'd be great. But we'll just get more range, and that's it, guys. So you'll see I completely obliterated 2 targets. There's 1 target left with 4 health left. I'll end the turn here, and that's it. The fight's pretty, you know, this is a 1v4, and the fight's pretty much over. This build really, really meets every damn expectation alive when it comes to range. It's not as strong as the Titan Strength abusing, but nothing in the game is as strong as using Dex and Bladelock Charisma, and then using Strength Elixirs and Tavern Brawler, stuff like that. Nothing compares to that. And again, I talked about it earlier in the game. It just feels so out of, like, it just doesn't feel really like right to me. It's just like, it's just so boring. Oh, I'm gonna just power game and use 4 characters that are all using Elixir and Strength abusing. It's like, I don't know. But anyway, that's you know, that's it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, concerns, comments, let me know. Mozu with Netground Tech here. Have a good one, guys.